Hi everyone, welcome to the Ever Seeking Empath. So today I am back with a love predictions reading. If you're watching this when I post, it's shortly after Valentine's Day, but this is a timeless reading, so you can watch it any time that the messages resonate for you, and it should give you something valuable. So, before we get started, I do want to remind everyone it's a general reading, so it might not resonate with everybody. So, just take the messages that you feel are meant for you and disregard the rest. Also, like, share, subscribe, comment if you feel inclined to do so, because it really does help me out and I'd like to keep this channel growing. But yeah, so we are going to do some love predictions. So, this is regardless of if you are single, in a relationship, anything. It should apply. We're just going to get some general themes and see what the cards have to say, see what the charms have to say, and then we are also doing kind of a fun little addition. I have these like yes or no and timing kind of related cards that after your cards, I'm going to ask everybody to kind of mentally make a note of a yes or no question that you would like answered, and hopefully those cards can give us some insights. So we have 3 piles here today. So pile 1 is Poppy, remember who you wanted to be. Pile 2 is Jasmine, success will be found if you hold on to hope. And then pile 3 is Snowdrop, tomorrow brings the illumination of your hopes. So just figure out which pile you're feeling drawn to. It doesn't have to be your favorite flower or favorite quote or anything like that. Just figure out which one is really drawing you in, and that is your pile. I'm going to put timestamps in the description box and in the comments below, and we are going to get started now with pile number 1. Hi group 1, welcome to your reading. So if you selected Poppy as your pile marker, remember who you wanted to be, then this is your reading, so welcome. So we're just going to put that up there. I'm going to do your cards first, and then we are going to do your yes or no question, and then we're going to get charms at the end. So just make sure you stay tuned for all of that so that you can get your entire reading. So without further ado, we are going to start with your tarot cards. So for your tarot, you have the King of Wands, 7 of Cups, and then finally number 20, Awakening, which is like the Judgment card in traditional tarot. So I'm feeling like for you, there's definitely kind of a reawakening right now of what you actually want in a relationship, because obviously you have the card Awakening. That's really just coming back to maybe what you once knew you wanted, and then you kind of deviated from the path, and now you're back on that path. And with 7 of Cups, that's a lot of choices, and a lot of choices can lead to confusion. So 7 of Cups, that can often be like online dating in this scenario, just because there are tons of choices. That does not always mean that those choices are good choices. Some of them might be, but you really don't always know what you're going to get. So maybe some of you have been wondering if the grass is greener on the other side. Maybe some of you in relationships are wondering if this is the right relationship with you, and you're kind of questioning yourself. Maybe some of you haven't been having a lot of luck in dating, so you're wondering if you should be doing something different, if you should be looking for other traits that people are telling you should be looking for. But this King of Wands is a really good sign that's saying you should trust in yourself. You know what you want, and you can go after it. So I feel like you're going to have a lot more confidence coming up in the dating arena. Maybe you are going to have enough confidence to ask somebody out or to really drive things forward, because the King of Wands is very active. They're not passive. They're not as receptive. They're very determined to make things happen. So I feel like you're taking the reins back to your own life right now and kind of moving back towards what you know you want. So you're not compromising anymore. So for your oracle cards, you have forgiveness. So some of you might be in a relationship and you're needing to forgive somebody else. You might be needing to forgive yourself for kind of deviating from what you know you wanted and for compromising where you shouldn't have been compromising. Some of you might need to be forgiving a past relationship that's kind of holding you back. Even if you're not wanting to reconcile with somebody, maybe you still are holding on to some past hurts that are preventing you from moving forward. You also have new beginnings. So, yeah, I definitely feel like this is a release of the past, especially situations that aren't working for you anymore, past hurts that you've been carrying with you that aren't serving you. This is a chance for a new beginning that is going to be a lot more beautiful, a lot more resonant with your soul right now. It's going to feel a lot more fulfilling. You also have Speak the Language of Love, number 35. Loving words have the power to change lives, including your own. So I feel like that one of the things that this card is making me think of is just giving people the benefit of the doubt, which works a lot with forgiveness as well, as just assuming that people have the best intentions. Even though, I mean, not everybody does, obviously, but moving forward as if people have the best intentions is going to give you the freedom to move forward in a happier way. Like, you're not going to be thinking that people are constantly going to manipulate you. It's going to kind of free you from that overthinking a little bit and just moving forward. Like, you're going to be able to move forward in a better way for yourself as well. And speaking kindly to yourself, I think, is something that a lot of you might be having trouble with, even if you didn't always have trouble with it. I feel like maybe you have been having that self-doubt and you've been second-guessing yourself just because, you know, there are too many cooks in the kitchen right now. Like, you've been taking too much advice from someone else. Maybe you've been comparing your life to other people's lives on social media. And so that's kind of skewing what you know you want. And so you've been maybe harder on yourself or harder on your loved ones. So I think coming back to a more loving place is going to help you move forward in a better way. You also have Sweet Pea, blissful pleasure. Follow your bliss and the universe will open doors where there were only walls. Joseph Campbell. So, yeah, I love that. It's kind of what we've been talking about, you know, like really following your bliss, following what you know you want, not getting all of the confusion of what other people want or what other people say you should want or what social media says you should want, not letting that get in the way of moving towards what you actually want, not letting that change your mind, and really focusing on what makes you feel good, because that is going to lead you down the right path. Your ice cream oracle card is Cookie Dough, Building, Evolution, Development. So a lot of you, I think, have the chance to build something right now with somebody. So that could be building within a relationship you're already in. It could be building a broader network of people. Like, if you're just out meeting people, maybe you're building a better network with people who are kind of more aligned with your life goals. And it can also obviously be building a relationship with someone new as well. That I feel like you're in a position right now where you feel like you're leveling up. So leveling up yourself and leveling up your relationships. And this kind of goes off of an idea that I was going to say based on that last card. So you have friendship, number 23, for your love story oracle card. So a lot of you, I think this could be a friendship that is evolving into a romantic relationship right now. So some of you, if you're single or if you are kind of treading that line right now where you're not sure if something's going to evolve into something greater or if it's just going to stay the same, I think a lot of you have the chance right now to build a friendship into a romantic relationship. Otherwise, if you're in a relationship, maybe bringing that friendship aspect back in or building the friendship part of your relationship up is going to help you move forward, even like what we were saying, like moving forward more lovingly. Because I think a lot of the time it's easier to be kind to our friends than it is to our partners, especially if you have like one life partner. Sometimes we have like really high expectations that we're not communicating as well, but just bringing that friendship aspect back in is probably going to help you create a more loving relationship. And for some of you who maybe aren't seeing any kind of romantic prospects at the moment, this could just be that friendship is more your focus right now as well. And again, building your network, expanding your network, just coming back to what you know you want and not compromising that for people who you feel aren't really living up to the kind of partner that you would like to look for. So I'm hoping that that's resonating. And then we've got a few of these love story oracle cards. So we have trust issues, sweetheart, communication, stabbed in the back, and twin flames. So let me move these over a little bit. So what I'm getting is a lot of you definitely have trust issues. So that might be something that you are needing to forgive right now, is maybe forgiving yourself for having those trust issues, forgiving somebody else for maybe triggering those trust issues or for being the cause of it initially in your early life. And like stabbed in the back kind of goes with that too, that a lot of you maybe are worried about getting stabbed in the back again. You have been stabbed in the back in the past and that's causing your trust issues. But I think a lot of you are having that kind of hurt, like I said, that's following you forward. And it's time to release that, because once you do that, I think you're going to have some options coming in and communicating with you who are going to be a better match for you. I feel like a lot of you definitely have the chance to start something new, or the romance is going to be reignited in your relationship. This even says sorry, so some of you might be getting an apology that you've been wanting to hear for a while, so that's awesome news. And then for those of you who are resonating with that kind of twin flame label, I know not everybody does, but this could be a twin flame connection coming in, or you're feeling maybe drained from looking for your twin flame or from getting caught up in that twin flame journey. So that could be part of it. But if you're not resonating with that particular label, this could just mean that there's more balance coming into your love life. You're going to have somebody who is going to give just as much as they take. You've got somebody who kind of balances you out as well. So that's great news. We love to see that. Yeah, I think you're just going to have a lot more, it's just going to feel better. Like this relationship is going to feel healthier. It's going to feel more fulfilling. It's going to allow you to feel more like yourself. Because I think sometimes when we get caught up in a relationship, it's easy to kind of forget who we want to be and who we really are, because we're trying to match someone else's energy. So this is saying somebody is coming in to match your energy where it's at. So we are going to get your yes or no card now. So everybody think of a yes or no question. And we are going to get some cards. Most likely more than one is going to come out, because that has been the trend when I've used these cards in the past. But just ask a yes or no question related to the situation that you would like an answer to. All right. So we've got a few here. So we've got affirmative, so that's a yes. It's a no. Certainly, and yeah. So overwhelmingly, it looks like it's mostly yeses. It's a no could be for some of you who are maybe not really sure what you want. Maybe some of you were kind of hoping for a no, so maybe that's a scenario that's coming forward for just a few of you. But I feel like for most of you, this is a yes. This is a pretty positive yes. But that it's a no maybe is for some of you who are kind of wishy-washy about this, or you're not really sure what you want. So maybe it's time to come back and figure out if you're really wanting this situation in the first place. But just putting that out there, I'm going to actually move these out of the way, because instead of using the tray today, we are going to just be putting the charms on top of these cards just to kind of make it easier. We're going to try something new today. So we're going to get your charms for some more detailed information. I'm going to read those kind of as a whole. I might point out some that are really standing out to me, and then hopefully those messages will resonate. All right. So at first glance, I'm seeing a couple of these knights coming out. So that knight energy, that's movement, that's somebody coming in. That can often be messages for you, but I'm looking at this sweetheart too. So I feel like a lot of you, there is somebody coming in to either give you an apology or make you an offer at the moment. So that might be something that some of you are hoping for. Maybe it's something that you're wondering if anybody's going to come in like that. And the answer is yes to that. I feel like embracing that kind of new beginning energy is important, because you got the Fool here. You're definitely breaking out of the cage, especially because that landed on that stabbed in the back. I think that that's holding you back. You know, those past hurts are making it hard for you to move forward. And we have the Mask here too, and I believe that landed upside down. I've been flipping them, so I should be paying more attention. But yeah, so just making sure that you're being honest with people and that you're taking off the mask. You're not trying to be somebody else. Honesty is important. And with this fox, that can often be like cunning as well. So making sure that you are not kind of anticipating being fooled. I think you're smart enough not to get fooled again. We've got a few zodiac signs here. So we've got Libra, and we also have Pisces. So those are actually pretty good relationship options. So Libra is very much a relationship focused sign. It's very much about balance to give and take, fairness. But they're just very much a relationship oriented sign. And then Pisces is very dreamy. So some of you maybe need to start dreaming again and really focusing on what you want and not focusing so hard on your fears and what you don't want. But those could also be zodiac signs of you or the person coming in. I love that you have happy in life. So happy life, I feel like once you get happy in your own life, things are going to start working out for you in other areas as well. And I think something is going to bring you a happy life. Somebody's coming in that is going to make your life happier as well. You have this little sleepy moon, and I feel like for some of you, you need to get better sleep. Some of you might be getting guidance in your dreams as well. I feel like a lot of you are kind of caught up in your heads at the moment, and when you start kind of grounding again, you start working through your subconscious. So that could be happening for some of you where those subconscious fears are kind of bubbling up to the surface. You have dad here. So some of you, that might be a little shout out from your dad if that's something that you've been looking for. That can also be maybe the father of your children. It can be you if you're a dad. It can be just if there are fatherly issues coming up that are affecting this situation. And then not my circus, not my monkeys makes me think, focus on yourself, don't worry about what other people are doing. I think that's backing me up to say, like, try not to focus on social media so much and not getting caught up in all of that, because that can really skew our sense of reality. The little brush is making me think, like, declutter to, get rid of the stuff that isn't serving you, that's really not working for you at the moment. And then the sun hiding behind the cloud, I feel like that's just saying it's just around the corner. All the positive stuff is really coming through. Somebody with integrity is coming forward, because you have the little fleur-de-lis here, and you have the cherries, you have the rose, and you have the lipstick. So that's all like very romantic energy, putting your best foot forward, kind of fancy date energy. So I feel like even if you're not really interested in fancy dates, that's kind of this like, it's very extra, especially with the bow there. Like something unexpected is coming out. I feel like you're going to feel very much treated to something. Things are going to start feeling very positive. You're going to start feeling worthwhile. You're not settling for what you don't want or for less effort than you're hoping for. Things are getting launched because you have that rocket ship. So that's great. That's that building energy that we saw in your ice cream oracle card. And then you've got the mixer here. So I think the pieces are coming together right now. Even if you're not seeing any evidence of that yet, things are starting to get mixed up and put together. So it might be taking longer than you're hoping for at the moment. But that's why I think it's telling you to seize control back in some ways. Put yourself out there, get yourself back on your own right life path that is feeling like you, and not getting caught up in like what other people are doing or getting caught up in what you feel like you should be doing. But really getting put back on that life path is going to align you better with what you want coming towards you. And even if it takes some time, I think you being happier in your life overall is going to bring those people back in. So even if you're in a relationship, getting your life in order is going to kind of spark that romance back in your relationship again. So group 1, I hope that this resonates with you. I would love to hear if it does. So please leave me a comment below. Like, share, subscribe if you enjoyed this and if you feel so inclined. Comment below if it resonated, because I always love to hear your stories. I hope to see you again. Thank you for watching, and I hope to see you next time. Hi, group 2. So if you chose Jasmine, success will be found if you hold on to hope, then this is your message, so welcome. So we are going to start off with your cards. Then we're going to pull a yes or no card for you. I'm going to have you come up with a question that can be answered by yes or no, and we can figure out some more information, and then we'll do your charms at the end. And we're just going to put them on the cards today. That works fairly well with group 1, just to make it easier to do something a little bit different. So let's figure out your love predictions for the time being. So we are going to start with your tarot. So you have the Knight of Pentacles, Six of Swords, and the High Priestess. So I'm definitely getting slow energy. So some of you might be feeling like it's taking forever, which makes sense, especially with this success will be found if you hold on to hope on your little marker card. A lot of you, I think, are trying not to lose hope. Like, you know it's coming, but it just feels like it's taking forever. But the Knight of Pentacles will get there. You know, even though he's the slowest knight, he does make it there in the end. And notice his determination. He's like pointing. He knows where he's going. He's moving forward, even if it's taking time. A lot of you, I think, are moving away from a more toxic situation or something that's been more chaotic. Maybe you've had a lot of bad luck in love, or you're moving away from a toxic old relationship or just toxic ways of being in your relationship, and you're trying to move forward in a better way, in a healthier way. And then with the High Priestess, I think a lot of you are maybe just feeling like you can't see what's coming, like you know something in your gut, and I think if you listen to your intuition, you know what's coming, but it's hard to really tune into that entirely because you can't actually see it. There is a lot of mystery surrounding it. Maybe you're not sure why things have happened the way that they are, like things aren't quite coming together yet, but I think things will clear up eventually. It's just probably going to take longer than you're hoping for. So for your oracle cards, you have Delight. So a lot of you, I think, maybe just need to focus a bit more on things that bring you unbridled joy, like just a lot of joyful energy, like things that are feeling freeing. I think a lot more joy is coming to you as well, because that Six of Swords is often moving towards joy. You know, even if you're not sure exactly what that's going to look like, you're moving away from what doesn't work, from the chaos. You're moving onto smoother waters, so that even if it takes time, you're holding on to that hope that joy is going to return. And it will. This is telling you that it definitely will, and it's going to be big and beautiful, and it's going to feel really great. But just hold out a little while longer, because I feel like that hated word patience is coming to mind, that patience is going to be necessary, but that doesn't mean that you have to sit back and rest and wait. It just means things aren't going to look exactly like you want them to for a little while yet. But I kind of love this as a follow-up. You have Act as if your partner is here, number 37. Whether you have someone in your life or not, act as if they are with you, so you will always consider them. So for any of you not in a relationship, this is just saying act as if you have your ideal partner there already. You know, this is that law of attraction, manifestation 101 kind of thing. If you're acting as if you already have what you want, you're putting yourself in the energy to pull that in towards you. So that's really just encouraging you to act as if you have that partner that you want already. You know, think as if you have that ideal partner, and sometimes it can just shift you into a slightly different energy where you start bringing in more joyful things, more things that feel like they're meant for you. You know, you're not settling for things that don't match up with that image. And I'm not saying fantasize and like picture your exact perfect person, but just the way you feel around them, you know, how you're acting, what your life feels like. It really is about that like kind of inner knowing, inner feeling, that it's just encouraging you to act as if. And that inner knowing, inner feeling is very much tied to the High Priestess too. So I feel like maybe that's what you know, like you don't know how it's going to happen or what it's going to look like, but you know how it's going to feel, and you have to trust that. And then for those of you who are in a relationship, maybe it's just saying to act as if your partner is the person you want them to be. Like if you're in a rough patch, or you know, act as if they have the best intentions, like your ideal partner, like acting as if they're being the kind of partner you need them to be at the moment. Because sometimes I think we can get kind of complacent. It's harder to communicate what we need. So I think acting as if your partner is being your exact perfect partner kind of helps you recognize too how you can be a better partner as well. And then that kind of always considering them is making me think just thinking about them, doing little things, you know, keeping that spark alive by kind of bringing them with you when you're separated. Like maybe some of you are separated from your current partner right now, or you're long distance for a little bit, or there's just some kind of mismatch. Maybe you're working different schedules, but kind of thinking of them as you move through your life and finding things that they would like and things you want to tell them and stuff like that. I think sometimes that can keep you feeling connected even when you feel like there is that separation. Then you got a few of these Botanic Inspiration cards. So you got Daffodil, Rebirth, and New Beginnings. New beginnings are often disguised as painful endings. So yeah, that's Six of Swords in a nutshell right there. That when things are moving forward, it can be tumultuous for a while, but things do calm eventually. And then you kind of get into that void space where it just feels unfamiliar and you don't know what to fill it with yet. But it will be filled with joy eventually. It's just sometimes it takes time to get through that rough patch. Coreopsis, always joyful. What was I saying about delight? Write it on your heart that every day is the best day of the year. So maybe that's something tying into the act as if your partner is here too, is really tying the idea of joy into your relationship, because sometimes, again, when you get a bit complacent, when you're used to each other, you're not looking for those little joyful moments or the little things that they're doing that you're taking for granted. And so just really focusing on the joy can help bring that spark back a little bit. And then finally you have Magnolia, nobility, and self-esteem. There is nothing noble in being superior to your fellow men. True nobility lies in being superior to your former self. So there's a lot about like personal growth here, and I think that's kind of tying in with the act as if your partner is here. So not acting as if you're being the perfect partner and they're being a total loser, but really acting as the partner that you want to be, and kind of assuming and trusting that they are going to rise up to meet you there, but recognizing areas that you can also improve as a partner. I think that's going to really help too, because we're always growing, we're always learning, we can always do better, but especially when you don't have control over what somebody else does and you can redirect that control to what you're able to do, sometimes that can help fill a bit of that void that we're feeling as well. So your ice cream oracle card is Mint Chocolate Chip, Endurance, Determination, Fortitude. That is Knight of Pentacles in a nutshell. Really just enduring the long slog as you move forward. You know, it's hard, it's exhausting, it feels like it's never ending, but you will get there. There is a lot of determination that you will find the relationship that you want, that you will build the relationship you want with the partner you already have, that you will stand the test of time, that you will get through this rough patch. I feel like a lot of you just need to remember that you can do it. And I think a lot of you are very determined and very stubborn. Like, I don't want to say that like it's a bad thing, because it can often be a very good thing, but I feel like a lot of you don't want to let yourself down, like let your past self down, but just make sure that the person you're pleasing is yourself and not like family. Like, I feel like some of you maybe have some family obligations where someone's expecting you to stay maybe in a not so great relationship. Maybe that's what you're trying to move on from with the Six of Swords, and so that's what's giving you a little bit of hesitation. And that kind of gives us a nice segue into your next card, your love story oracle card, which is Influence, number 33. So some of you might be getting influenced by like family members. Maybe some of you are having friends tell you what they think. So there's a little tiny bit of overlap here with pile 1 with that kind of influence message, but for a lot of you, I think just making sure that the influence you're really listening to is your own. But what I'm also getting, because this is looking kind of magical, the universe is listening to you. So if you want a partnership that is a certain way or that feels a certain way, send that out to the universe. It's that manifestation energy. Act as if that partner is here. Talk to the universe out loud if you need to. Write it down. You know, just send that energy out there, because that is going to come back to you. Even if it takes a while, sometimes it takes a while for everything to kind of line up as it needs to, but I think that is really coming together for you. I feel like the more you are really honest with yourself in what you want, what you need, because I think a lot of the time you're like repressing your own needs in favor of maybe pleasing somebody else, or in kind of trying to hold on to something that maybe you shouldn't be holding on to anymore. Just holding on to that hope and making sure that you're pleasing yourself and making sure that your own needs are met. That's important. But yeah, just talk to the universe and recognize that the universe is listening, and you can influence the kinds of relationships that you will attract, because a big part of that is saying no to relationships that don't match up with what you're looking for. So making sure that you're being honest with yourself in that as well. Then we have a few cards from the Love Oracle cards from Island Time Wellness. So you have Blowing Bubbles, On Guard, and Relational Abuse. So we're going to start on the fun side with Blowing Bubbles. So That's just about being very present, like focusing on the moment. It's all those little joys, like we were talking about, focusing on the joy, focusing on those bright, sunny, lovely things, especially as you're moving through something difficult. Those little things build up and become the big things. So really holding on to that, that can also help you hold on to hope as well, especially if you're not seeing anything coming in yet. Those little tiny wins are so important. So just make sure you're focusing on those. On guard. So it does say competing for someone. So maybe there is a little bit of that, where you feel like you're competing for somebody, but I feel like that's almost, more for people who are in a relationship, like you're competing for their time with work or with family or something like that. Like it's not so much another person, but it is, you two are kind of split apart. Like there's not as much connection as you want just because of what else is happening in your life. And some of that means that you do need to make the time for each other and you need to step back from some of those. But for some of those, it just means, it's going to take some time. It's just, you got to hold on a little while longer until things start to calm down, and it will. And then relational abuse. So first off, disclaimer, if you are in an abusive situation, get out of that, but I think this is more about just recognizing the red flags up front and knowing that you do not have to say yes to a situation that does not match up with what your needs are. And I don't mean to be like flippant about abuse or anything, but it's also saying ask for help. So if you need help or if you need something, if you have a need that is not being met, ask for it, voice it, influence. You have to communicate that, because if you don't, no one is a mind reader. No one automatically has knowledge of what your needs are, because everybody's needs are a bit different. So, you prioritize things differently. So recognizing that you might have to just voice what you need, and then knowing that if something still does not feel right, or if things are not matching up quite right, or even if you're just not compatible, getting out of that, making sure that you are not sticking around just because of family influence or friends influencing you or what people would think or anything like that. Just recognizing that it's important to advocate for yourself. So yeah, we are going to get your yes or no answer now. So think of a yes or no question, and I'm going to pull some cards for you. A few cards popped out for pile 1. So kind of the way I'm looking at it is I'm going to look at the overall theme of the cards that come out. If there is no theme, maybe looking at the card that really feels like it's speaking to you, because some of these have like a particular voice to them. Some are very formal, some are very casual, the way that they deliver these messages. But I will just kind of give you my insights once these pop out. So think of your yes or no question. All right. So you got a few cards here. So you got don't bet on it. You got why are you asking me? And then you got without questioning. So I think some of you kind of know the answer. Again, like you've got that high priestess. So that to me says you have the answer within you. You know what it is. So that why are you asking me? I'm almost getting for some of you, why are you even watching a tarot reading on this? You know what's coming. It's just, it's going to take time. It's taking longer. Maybe there's a lot more room for self-doubt right now because it's taking so long, but you know the answer. It's just try not to question it. Try to focus on those little joys and like sending out to the universe what you want to bring in. But with that, don't bet on it. Some of you might be asking a question that you kind of already know the answer to, that you like know it's no. Some of you, I think, maybe are asking if your fears are going to come true. And I think with that, why are you asking me? Some of you like need to advocate for yourself. Like you're not at the mercy of the universe. You have more power than you're giving yourself in this situation. So recognize that. So that's what I'm getting for your yes or no questions. And we are going to do your charms now for some more detailed information. I'm going to stick these up there so that we can just see the rest of your cards. I'm just doing the charms on the cards today. Some of them are kind of linking up with the cards, but I think it just makes it a little easier. We're going to get kind of your overall messages. I'm going to read them as a whole, and then I'm going to kind of point out some individual ones if I feel the need to. right. So you got Pisces energy here. I just want to point that out before we move on too much. So group 1 actually got Pisces too, so that might be a significant zodiac sign. Oh my gosh, no way. So Pisces and Libra. Pile 1 also got Pisces and Libra. Libra, like I said in pile 1, is kind of a relationship-oriented sign as a whole anyway, that they are very focused on partnership, equal give and take, balance, that kind of thing. Pisces is very dreamy, so maybe that's what it's saying is act as if your partner is here. Get into that dreamy mode. Think, what if things work out? I think that's maybe the angle a lot of you need to focus on a little bit more, because some of you, I think, are starting to get a little bit pessimistic. And with that abuse card, I'm almost feeling like some of you are twisting things to be mean to yourself. So passing on the message from pile 1 as well, be nicer to yourself. We're just going to sum that up. Be nicer to yourself. Yeah, XOXO. And that landed on like blowing bubbles. So some of you might just need to express your affection a little bit more. I feel like a lot of you are needing just to focus on the joy and the happiness and just those little things, and just express your love to the people that are in your life already. But recognize that you are going to get some of that joyful, loving energy too. I'm almost getting like blowing kisses too, because it's like blowing bubbles, but then there's like kisses and stuff there. So some of you might be focused on like blowing kisses to someone. I don't know why I'm getting like that image of someone blowing a kiss, but that might be standing out just for a few of you. You have Tigger. So Tigger is like the eternal optimist. He is often hyperactive, obviously, but kind of bouncing off the walls. Like there's so much excitement there. So I feel like get excited. This is telling me like things are going to get exciting. It's just going to take a little time, but get excited. Focus on your joy. You know, I keep getting that message. You have the dream catcher here too. So some of you might be having some dreams that are coming in that landed on this card. So some of you might be having nightmares about what you don't want, but that's why it's saying try to trap those negative thoughts and negative energies before they really settle into your subconscious, and kind of set them aside. You know, you don't need to put more focus on them than is necessary. Like, yes, it's helpful to know what those negative signs are so that you don't repeat like any kind of past situation, and you don't welcome in things that aren't going to serve you and aren't going to help you and aren't healthy for you. But you don't have to put more focus on it than it deserves. You know, focus more on the joy if you can. And then you have the anchor, which is very much about stability. The tree is about stability and like family and growth and all of that as well. So I do think something very stable is coming in. And because you have that Knight of Pentacles, that's stable energy. That's very constant, steady, dependable, reliable energy. So that's what you want. Even though it's taking time, it means it's not going to be flighty. It's not going to be yes or no. It's not going to keep you guessing. It's going to be very reliable. And the story isn't over yet. That's what I'm getting. Like, I don't always get that exact message with that book. But that's a storybook charm that I have. Sometimes I have different meanings according to if it's open or shut, but I'm getting like the story is not over yet. You know, there's another chapter, maybe even another book coming. So just hold out hope. And then you have Bast. So that's very much, so that's an Egyptian goddess. I'm not super clear on all like gods and goddesses, but to me that's goddess of the home, that's domestic. I also believe that she's got to do with like dance and movement as well. So I feel like some of you might need to dance out that excess energy you have. But D is also making me think dependable, you know, and D could be an important initial for a person, or you could think of another word coming up for that. But I'm thinking like dependable, direction, you know, it's very much focused on what is it's you know, it's something that's guaranteed coming. It's just taking time, you know, it's taking steps, it's incremental, it's slow, but it's steady, it's growing, it's reliable. So that's all I have for you, group 2. I hope that these messages are resonating with you. I would love to hear if they do resonate, so please leave me a comment, like, share, subscribe if you feel so inclined. I hope to see you next time. Thanks for watching, and have a great rest of your day. Hi, group 3. So if you chose Snowdrop, tomorrow brings the illumination of your hopes for your little marker card, then this is your reading, so welcome. So we are going to start with your cards and then do your yes or no card and then do your charms at the end. So make sure that you stay tuned for that so that you can get your entire reading. So yeah, let's figure out what's coming for you in love. Let's figure out some love predictions for you. And we are going to start with your tarot. So for your tarot, you have the Five of Wands, Ace of Wands, and Five of Swords. So you guys have a little bit more like difficult energy than the prior piles. Not overall, but just those fives are a lot more chaotic. There's a lot about like battles and like doing things to kind of win, even if you feel like everybody loses in the end, but like trying to get the high ground on someone. You know, maybe you're butting heads with people, you feel like you're not finding your match. Maybe if you're in a relationship, you feel like it's a period where you've just been fighting nonstop and it's just like little arguments that are just so nonsensical. You know, it's not anything major, earth-shattering, but it's just like that. Like, I feel like this irritation, like it's just like sandpaper is the texture that I'm thinking of, you know, like it's just irritating constantly. Like maybe there's too much togetherness, or you feel like you're not focusing on yourself enough, or you're not having enough connection, so you're fighting about that. And if you're not in a relationship, maybe you just feel like, man, why are people so awful? Like it's just, there's just this energy of like disappointment and feeling like you're just not finding what you're looking for, and like you're not being heard is another thing. But then you have the Ace of Wands, which is really great potential. It's potential for something new, potential for new passion. So maybe for a lot of you, the passion is kind of heating up a little bit. It's potential for more excitement. So maybe some of you who are in relationships need to kind of reignite that excitement again. And just focus on like the fun. Like I feel like a lot of you need to just focus on a little bit more joyful stuff and not focusing on all of the little irritations that come up throughout the day. But let's see what your oracle cards have to say. So you have Gateway. So I feel like kind of what I'm getting initially is that these fights and like little irritations are an opportunity to move through that into a better period. Like Gateway to me is saying opportunity to something better. So whether that means you know this isn't the relationship for you and you want to move on to a better one, whether this is saying you know that you can get through to a better phase. Like a lot of the time going through some fights helps you find better ways to communicate, or it helps make you stronger in some way because you find that you can bounce back from those irritations. Or finding out that, you know, maybe you're looking for people all wrong. You're looking for the wrong kind of relationship, or you're looking in the wrong place. And this Gateway is helping you move through to a better period of time and finding what you need in a better way. And it's going to be a lot better than you expect. And then you also have action. So the great thing about anger and irritation is that it is fuel for us to move forward and to take action on things that we're not happy about. You know, that sense of injustice sometimes can propel us forward to make things better for each other, for ourselves, for the world. So a lot of you, I think this kind of fiery energy is just so you can take action on things. So a lot of you, I think, are needing to take action on this relationship, whatever that means for you. We're going to get some more guidance, so hopefully that can kind of help drive you in the right direction. But for some of you, that might mean getting off dating apps and trying to meet people in person. Maybe it means stop dating so many people. Maybe it means date more people, you know, stop trying to make it work with someone that you're ill-suited. You know, like that kind of thing. I feel like it's going to be different for everybody. I'm not getting like one single situation here, but I think once you feel that freedom and that excitement and that passion again, you'll know it's right. That's kind of what I'm getting, is you just kind of have to trust yourself. But once things start to come together, there is going to be that potential for something better. You have Love is all around you. Number 16. There is love everywhere all the time. Simply acknowledge this as truth. So a lot of you might need to focus on the love that's around you too. Like if you're not getting your needs met in a relationship or in the dating realm right now, focus on yourself, focus on your pets, focus on your family, your friends, you know, volunteering. That's another great way to show love if you feel like you have love to give and you don't really have a good outlet for it, you know, to just showcase love and care for other people. And recognizing when love is coming at you and when love is just being expressed around you between others as well. Because I think when you get into those periods of time where you're butting heads or you're fighting or you're just seeing a lot of negativity around you, it's easy to feel like that's all that there is. So it's saying focus on the love and the joy and the kindness that people are showing each other too, because that's going to help balance things out and really put things back into perspective too. So you got a few of these Botanic Inspiration cards. So you got Snapdragon, graciousness and benevolence. No act of kindness, no matter how small, is ever wasted. That's exactly what I was saying, is focus on the kindness. You know, if you can do something kind for somebody else, do it. If it means that you're not draining yourself, focus on the acts of kindness between other people or the acts of kindness that people are showing you. Be gracious when someone is being kind to you, because I think sometimes if we feel either like we don't deserve something or we don't have anything to give back, we're like, no, I don't want that because then I owe you. But like, recognize an act of kindness as just a soul like act. It doesn't have to be reciprocated. You don't have to act on it in any way. It can just be accepted and received. So I feel like a lot of you maybe need to get better about receiving too, because there is a lot of active energy, but there's not much here that's receptive. So maybe that's something that's missing in your life right now, is receptivity. So that might resonate for a few of you. You have Amaryllis, determination and creative achievement. You can't use up creativity. The more you use, the more you have. And that's a lot like love too. You know, love is not finite. People always say that love can't be used up. You know, you don't love one person less just because you love somebody else as well. You know, like it's sometimes time is something that is very finite. Like you can't always express it all the time, but that doesn't mean you feel anything less. Love just expands. And it's saying that's the same thing for creativity. So some of you might need to kind of hone in and channel and harness your energy and put it into something creative. You know, that's the Wands energy as well, especially like that Ace of Wands, very creative energy. Some of you, I think, are needing to use this energy somehow. And I'm noticing there's so much like action, fiery, like these two are both very red too. So I do feel like some of you are like fired up. That's kind of the energy I'm getting, is a lot of you, there's like a lot of fuel that you're using. So if you're feeling like you're lashing out a lot or like using it for anger and it's not serving you, try to harness it and use it in something creative instead and see if that kind of satisfies that a little bit, because there is really great energy here. It's just kind of bursting out rather than being channeled right now. You also have Crocus, cheerfulness. It is spring again. The earth is like a child that knows poems by heart. So yeah, I feel like, you know, the crocus is often the first flower of spring that you see. You know, it's peeking up through the frost and the snow. So for a lot of you, if you feel like it's just been like desolate right now, or it's been, you know, stressful, there's going to be that little bit that's just going to feel like, oh yeah, that's how that can feel. Or like just that little bit of joy. I'm just getting this like sigh of relief feeling. So I feel like if there's a lot of tension, there's going to be that moment where you just kind of relax, and then things are going to start to kind of come together. You know, I don't feel like it's going to be all at once, like, you know, giant aha moment, you know, sun bursting through the clouds and melting away all the snow at once kind of thing. But it's just that little peak of hope, you know, even what the snowdrop says, tomorrow brings the illumination of your hopes. That crocus is that symbol of hope. So I feel like a lot of you just need to hold on to that sense of hope, and find ways to use that passion that isn't just like anger and fighting and like kind of feeling irritated by people. So that creativity, maybe some of you are wanting passion with another person too. So maybe that's a healthy outlet for you. If you know that that's not a healthy outlet for you, maybe you do need to kind of hone it in and just use it personally in a creative project of some sort. But that's just kind of coming through as well. And then you have Pink Rose, grace and sweetness. The pursuit of perfection, then, is the pursuit of sweetness and light. So there might be some perfectionist energy here. Maybe that's what the butting heads is about, is, you know, wanting to do things your way, and somebody else has strong opinions also and wants to do things their way. So there could be butting heads over that. But that grace and sweetness, I feel like, is a little bit of like what's missing in this pile right now. So maybe, again, like that receptivity, maybe you need to step back and be receptive and allow somebody to do something for you. If you're in a relationship, maybe that means allowing them to do things their way. But like, you know, some of them I feel like are wanting to do something nice for you, and they just want to show their love. And maybe it is going to benefit you to just step back and let them show their love in the way that they need to show it right now, rather than saying you'd rather have it in a different way. You know, they always talk about love languages, but it's like we express our love and we want to receive love sometimes differently. Sometimes the way that we want to receive love is not the way that somebody else wants to give love. So it's like there's a lot of compromising that has to happen when it comes to that kind of thing. So I feel like maybe this is saying to step back a little bit, you know, find healthy outlets for that passion and that action-oriented energy, but then allow yourself to also be receptive. So your ice cream oracle card is Cookies and Cream, Guilty Pleasures, Indulgence, Temptation. So again, more red energy. So there is like a lot of temptation here too. So some of you, it might just be like getting tempted to like do something that feels good in the moment, even if you know it's not good for you, like getting into a fight or like having it your own way kind of thing. But for some of you, this could just be like having passion with somebody else. Maybe this is saying indulge a little bit, especially if you're not indulging. Maybe that's going to kind of clear the air a bit, especially if you're in like a solid relationship. Maybe that's something that would help. Some of this is also saying like maybe being tempted to do something like not so good for you. Just like measure that, you know, make sure that you're not letting that potential just burst out, like what we were talking about with that Five of Wands, where sometimes it bursts out like completely unharnessed, and you need to hone that in and direct it in one direction for it to be useful energy. So I think that's something that you just might want to be wary of. But some of you, I think, maybe need to treat yourself a little more, and you're focused maybe too much on your environment and not enough on indulging what you need. And then for your love story oracle cards, we have Family, number 44, Memories, number 29, and then Mystery, number 13. So for a lot of you, family could be affecting your love life. Maybe you do have a family with this person and you're missing how things used to be, like when there was that sense of mystery and you didn't know what somebody else was going to do. And now it's like just that constant irritation, like when you've been with someone for a long time, you both have a lot of stress going on, or you're not happy with the way that some things are going. So it's just like, you know, it's hard to regain that good stuff that's in the beginning of the relationship, you know, the passion, the excitement, the butterflies. And I think that's why it might be encouraging you in that scenario to focus on that guilty pleasures, and just indulge yourself a little bit. But for those of you maybe not in a relationship, maybe some of you want a family, maybe your family situations are kind of causing you to interact with people in these kind of unproductive ways. Because memories are coming up, I feel like some of you are focused too much on like how things were in the past, and that's coming up, or you're noticing now how your past is affecting your present. But some of you, I think, just need to like release some of those memories and allow yourself to see a little bit of a different future, hone in some of that energy that you're building up by focusing on the past. Like I feel like some of you focusing on the past so much is like building up that irritation, if that makes sense, like focusing on what people did to bug you, or focusing on like past injustices or something like that. And the reason I'm focusing on that so much is like I've been feeling that way for the past, I don't know, month or so. I've been like feeling super irritated. So I think there's something going on like energetically. People who know astrology better than I do probably know exactly what's going on, but I don't. I just know that I've been feeling super irritable, and I'm not always like a very irritable person, but a lot of stuff has been going on. So for some of you, it's just saying find healthier outlets for that. And then mystery, to me, sometimes like honing in that excitement, using creativity can help you accept that right now there might not be things that you know are coming. You know, you can't always know what's coming in. You can't always predict how things are going to happen, or you can't always have control. That's another thing that I'm getting, is like accept that sometimes you might not know what somebody else is going to do. You might not know how your partner is going to get something done, but you might just have to trust that and accept that they're responsible for it, and let them do it in the way that it needs to happen, and allow the consequences to kind of happen as they need to. And for those of you not in a current relationship, just accepting that you don't always need to know exactly what's coming. You know, like you don't have to know everything about somebody right away, or you don't have to know exactly how somebody's going to come in. Like, just because you don't see it happening doesn't mean it's not happening. And then using that irritable energy a different way. So I hope that's resonating. And now we're going to get some Island Time Wellness love cards. So we have Puppet Master, Looking Closely, The Real Deal, I Like You, and Coffee Cup. So Puppet Master, yes, there is so much about like control here. Asserting yourself. You know, I think a lot of you might need to assert yourselves more, and that's why the irritation's coming up, is because you don't assert yourself and you feel like you're butting heads because you've been just kind of silently seething about things. So it's saying assert yourself in a healthy way. But it could also be that you want to have control and you're having a hard time releasing control and just receiving or allowing things to just kind of fall where they may. Looking Closely in The Real Deal. I feel like a lot of you are maybe nitpicking. Like if you're in a relationship, nitpicking, like that's one big thing that's coming up, is I feel like maybe more people who chose this pile are already in a long-term relationship and you're nitpicking what somebody else is doing and you just feel like you're making things bigger than they need to be. But for those of you where that doesn't resonate, maybe you are being picky about a partner coming in. Maybe you're feeling like you're not seeing what you need to from people, that kind of thing. Maybe you're focusing too much on a relationship, and again, you need to redirect it to something creative or something else that is going to use up that energy. You have The Real Deal. That's right in the middle. So for me, like, who you're thinking about, like if you know that they are the real deal and it's just, this could be a temporary period where things are just rougher at the moment. But I think looking carefully, you will know if this person is the real deal or not. And for those of you who have no one in mind, that person is coming in and you'll be able to tell that they're the real choice. I think someone's coming in who does like you, who wants to take you out on maybe a more casual date, and you'll have conversation. You'll feel good about it. Like it's just going to start off maybe a bit more grounded feeling. Like maybe it's not going to have that heavy passion, like the push and pull kind of temptation energy. You know, maybe that's what was not working for you for a while. Maybe that passion led into a lot of toxicity, and that this is going to start a bit cooler. You know, it's not going to be as hot at the beginning, but it builds up, and that romance is going to kind of emerge a bit more organically. It's not going to be there from the start because what you were feeling before was something more toxic. So that's just going to resonate with some people as well. So just keep that in mind. The situation is obviously going to be different for everybody, but I think a lot of you do have the right person coming in, or you have the right person in your life right now. It's just, you got to kind of cool things down a little bit, find a healthy outlet for that passion and that like very fiery energy, and then use that cool head to figure out what's actually going on and what you actually need. So we are going to get your yes or no card now. So everybody think just mentally about some kind of yes or no question that you want to know about. We're going to get a few cards right now, and I'm just going to kind of read them as a whole and then let you know kind of what I think the situation is, or what the cards are telling you about your situation. So we got Don't Count on It. Outlook doesn't look good. No way. And then it kind of hidden underneath, there was Depends on the Day. So I think a lot of you are maybe like, yeah, this is definitely like this fire energy. Like you want to say no to somebody. You want to take them down. Like I definitely feel that a lot of you, I think, know what you want, what you don't want. So for most of you, the answer is no here. And you're going to know what this resonates with. And then Depends on the Day is making me think that for some of you, this isn't a consistent yes, but occasionally you might get a yes to whatever that question was. But for most of you, this is definitely a no. But I feel like for a lot of you, like you know what this is about. I don't think this is one situation. Obviously, I've been saying this is a lot of situations in this pile. I feel like you probably have the most variety going on in what is actually going on in your life here. But for a lot of you, I think you will know what this is about. But the answer that I'm mostly getting is no. So we are going to get your charms now. And I'm just going to read them as a whole and then read some details to get a little bit more detailed information. So yeah, group 3, let's do your charms. All right, some of those charms were a little sticky, so I do feel like some of you are kind of feeling stuck in a situation. I'm noticing we're getting more initials here too. We have E, L, P, and G. So those might resonate with some of you. That might be people. It might be a word that you're thinking of. I'm almost getting like gulp, like someone's like scared of facing you. That's kind of what I'm getting. That might not resonate with everybody, but that's what I'm getting from that. Or like help. Some of you might need to ask for help or allow somebody to help you. Maybe that's what this is about, is that you have a hard time letting people help you. So that could be resonating. You have Sagittarius here, so that's a fire sign. Very like fiery, can be like very focused on freedom, independence. So maybe some of you, that's what you're feeling, is that you're very independent and you're having a hard time letting people help you. But man, like you have people who are wanting to do nice things for you. You have this little bear who's like giving a flower, and that's like the see love all around you card that came out. I feel like it's saying, let people be kind to you. Like some of you, I think, are almost like rejecting niceness and kindness from people. And that's maybe not achieving the result that you want it to achieve. And I don't think you're necessarily wanting to reject kindness, but it's, again, there's like kind of a control thing here. Not to say that you're controlling, but I think you like knowing what a situation is before you get into it. You like knowing what's coming. So I think some of you might need to kind of channel that like controlling energy into something else and allow your relationships to be a bit more organic and allow somebody else to contribute a little more and allow yourself to receive. You have half and half. So that's kind of tying into that depends on the day. I feel like some of you are kind of half in, half out with a situation. You don't really know what you want, or you don't know where it's going. So that could resonate, but wishes coming true. I think a lot of you know your wishes are going to come true. You've got this little love arrow, like Cupid's arrow, coming in to hit. So if some of you are wanting to reignite the spark, maybe this fighting period is going to reignite the spark in your current relationship. Maybe some of you are going to find the right person and that spark is going to hit you out of nowhere, especially if you like start off a bit cooler and then that kind of romantic vibe starts hitting later on. World. So some of you might be travelers. That ties in with Sagittarius as well. But some of you maybe are making this relationship like too big of a part of your world. That's what I'm getting, is that there's too much investment into this relationship and you need to go back and like invest in yourself, invest in projects and things like that as well. But there is a lot of growth here. There's a lot of potential for something long term. You have a couple of trees, so that's growth, that's healthy. They're both very healthy looking trees. They're not bare. So there's a lot of potential here. There's a lot of growth. There's a lot of good things that can come out of this. And you have this little flower in the bubble. So I do feel like a lot of you are like very confident, but you don't allow a lot of people to like get into your inner circle or to penetrate your bubble. So I think some of you need to like let down your guard a little bit and let people be kind to you. Like I'm like hearing like, let me love you. So I feel like some of you need to let someone show you love. I think some of you are really having a hard time with that. You have mom here. So some of you might be moms, or like a mom can be a shout out, or your partner is a mom. But that could be resonating. That could be like an important part of why you're having a hard time being shown love. Maybe it's that mom showed you a lot of love and it feels wrong without her. Maybe, you feel like as a mom, it's your job to show love, but not necessarily to receive. There's like a lot of situations where that can come in. But it can also just be like a shout out from your mom who loves you, that kind of thing. There are a lot of fears coming up because you have the bat. That just makes me think of like that kind of unexpected fear coming at you, like kind of mystery, like bats in a cave coming out at you. And the lone wolf is out too. So I feel like a lot of you are kind of lone wolves. You're very independent. You're used to doing things yourself. Because you have the wrench here too. So I feel like you fix it yourself. Like if you want something done, you do it yourself. But I think a lot of you need to let somebody else fix things too, and maybe that is going to repair your relationship, or you want to repair it with someone else. But I think a lot of you, it is you just want to take control and you want to fix it. But sometimes you need to like make a little bit more room for somebody else to be themselves within the situation and allow them to like really invest in the way that they need to. Yeah, you have Pegasus, which is a very creative energy. And I know Pegasus is not a unicorn, but I was looking at that too, and unicorn's very creative. So I think a lot of you, there's this like untapped creative well within you that's like a lot of your fiery energy could be redirected to do some kind of creative project. So I know that's not relationship oriented, but man, like if you could redirect some of this relationship energy to something creative, something really great could happen from that. You have the little brush here that's just cleaning things up, really dusting things off, kind of getting rid of what doesn't serve you, decluttering, that kind of thing might help you. There's a lot of guidance coming in for you too. I think a lot of you, like, you feel like maybe someone is guiding you home. Maybe it is that mom like character, but I feel like some of you might need to kind of give up the reins a little bit and let somebody else guide you for once. Not consistently. Like I think we all take turns guiding each other, but I think when things are really stressful and strenuous and you feel like you're taking on too much, you need to allow yourself to receive. I know I keep saying that, but that's really what I'm getting is you guys need to let yourselves receive here. So group 3, this was like an intense reading. Man, there's like a lot of energy in this one. So I hope that this resonated. I would love to hear if it does. So please leave me a comment below. I love reading about your lives and how well this resonated. If you enjoyed this video, please like, share, subscribe if you feel so inclined. I hope to see you again. Thank you all for watching, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.